Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. This time I'm on a mission. I'm trying to do light tank 10 of the fourth set of missions. This is called the maximum result. My goals here are as follows. I have to finish the battle on top of experience, not just on my own team, but also the enemy team. I also have to survive the battle, and even more challengingly, I can't take a single hit point of damage. And that means that I have to be very careful with even colliding into my allies. To be able to try and do this mission today, I am playing in the T37. And if you haven't played World of Tanks in a while, you might be surprised. But this isn't the T37, this is the Chaffee, surely. This is a Tier 5 American light tank. And that's because when the Chaffee was at Tier 5, it was probably one of the most overpowered tanks in the game. I did manage to get my hands on it, but it was very late in the Chaffee's life cycle. I only wish that I had managed to get one of those things earlier. If I could turn back time, indeed. But then again, you still have the Chaffee at Tier 6 now. It has decreased view range, it's got more hit points, it's got slightly longer aim time, but a little bit more penetration, and exactly the same rate of fire and alpha damage. Actually, the alpha damage might have been increased by 5. I tell a lie there. But I digress, that's kind of irrelevant. The old Chaffee at Tier 5 is still alive inside the T37. And this is a very fun tank indeed. When you're in a matchup like this, you can make some very, very good experience. Not quite as good as what the Chaffee used to be able to make, because obviously when you shoot higher tier tanks in World of Tanks, you get more experience, and that is great for trying to do a mission such as this, where we have to finish on top, not just on our own team, but on both the teams. Now, I'm playing quite passively here. I can't afford to get shot. Even though this is an assault game, I've spent the first 2 minutes doing precious little. I wanted to go up and fight on the east, but I was very worried that I would be overpowered by the light tanks on the enemy team. The meta on this map currently for assaulting feels like the attacking team wins the west and then proceeds to go inside the cap circle over the bridge, while the defending team win the east and then fall back and defend the cap circle. I'm trying to think, how can I get the maximum result? How can I do as much as I can for my team without risking even taking a single shot? And I quickly realize in this battle that fortune favors the bold, he who dares wins. I was never going to stand even a chance of completing this mission if I played as passively like this, at least on this map. If we were playing on Prohorovka, as an example, it'd be completely different. I could pretty much just try and go up on the ridge line, or I could even try and find the bush on the west to camp, and then hope that my team give me a lot of spotting damage. That isn't really the case on Erlenberg. If it was a standard game, there are bushes that I can use, but I feel like for the assault, the battle lines are drawn, and the battle lines are so close to each other that there isn't really the opportunity of spotting. So I've used up a third of this game, literally 3 minutes and 30 seconds, roughly a third of a 10-minute assault game, and I've done pretty much nothing for the team. That's going to change right here, right now, as we get behind this Tier 7 Soviet heavy tank. Put 1 into him, 2 into him, we have to avoid his gun. The third bounces. Fortunately, the T29 only tracks me. He didn't do any damage to my tank. We narrowly avoid the Centurion's 105mm shell there, and then we align our tank up along here because I'm worried that I'm getting shot from the southeast. Now hopefully we're no longer spotted. It's time to get out of there. We took a mighty risk to be able to take out that IS, but I thought he was of key importance to how I can have an effective role in this game. He was the one in the center of the map blocking me from staying away from these guys' vision, and so I had no opportunity to spot or to try and progress through the map. Now I see that the tanks in the north are being overwhelmed, and the enemy are continuing to flank from the east, and if I was to stay there, it's likely I would get shot either from the center or from the south. So let's get stuck in. We put our first shot into the Centurion 7-1. We managed to track him with our second. He misses us, and we, with our fantastic engine power and excellent track traverse, managed to surround the Centurion 7-1. He panics, he goes down to the Super Pershing on our team, and we continue to blast into the back of the Tier 7 American Heavy. What a result here. Putting some more rounds into the side of this Tier 8 premium tank, the Super Pershing. Let's get off the ridge. We can't afford to take any damage. And as I mentioned earlier, I've got to be careful of my allies too. Everyone knows that if you lightly graze a light tank or a medium tank, they often take 1 point of damage, and that actually will break your mission when you're trying to do the maximum result. So from here, our camo rating is holding up very well. I do have 6 cents on this tank, and that enables me to put 4 rounds into the side of that Tier 7 Japanese medium tank, the Chi-Ri. We've done 1,700 damage in this game, and until that kill there, we were still even on kills, and there's a very dangerous AMX 5100 on the enemy team who we're going to watch out for. Even the KV-4 is deciding that he needs to flank around. Surely the KV-4 should be back here defending the base. We put one into the Speerpanzer, trying to find a second one, can't find it. Narrowly avoid a shell from the KV-4. I nearly wrecked my mission by bumping into the IS there. Thank goodness. I guess our tracks absorbed some of the damage. It was just a light graze. And this Ferdinand is in a lot of trouble against the Speerpanzer, the RU-251, the Tier 8 German light tank. Luckily, I'm behind the Speerpanzer. I quickly realized this. He doesn't have the gun depression to shoot us. He would have to turn his tank to be able to do so. And he seems more keen on running away from us. And so that enables us to put in a nice, quick 450 damage into him. And now this is where you want to be in your T37. All of the enemy team is spotted, so I know I'm not going to get shot from the southeast. And so that allows me to have the back of the KV-4. Whenever I'm doing this in World of Tanks, I'm just constantly hoping for a fire, especially in my light tanks. It can really accelerate your damage output. Another cheeky 533 damage into the KV-4. I slow down thinking my allies are going to ram me there. And now it's a case of just trying to finish off this battle. Now I have to admit, when I was doing this mission, remember that only the secondary objectives, well, their secondary objective is to win the battle. I could very easily just go, okay, fair cop. I've had a good game. You guys go off and do your own thing. That's all right. Try and beat the remaining 3 tanks with the last 2 minutes left on the game. And as long as I don't take any damage, I still feel pretty confident that I might finish on top of experience on both teams, even if we lose. And that's because I am a Tier 6 tank, having done 2,700 damage against Tier 9, Tier 7 and Tier 8 vehicles. Quite a few Tier 8 vehicles when you think about it. But then again, that secondary completion is 200,000 credits. Do we feel like risking it for the money? I hesitate on the ridgeline, just trying to spot Centurion or the AMX 5100 or even that T21 before I commit. Our ISU-152 is much braver, and he's doing the right thing. He's going straight towards the cap circle. There's less than 90 seconds left on this game. A huge shot there into the Centurion, and with some APCR rounds, we managed to go through the side of his armor, track him. He repairs his tracks, but it's too late. He didn't even see it coming. We rolled really low with our shots there, having to penetrate 4 times to do 341 damage. So now, with the Centurion dead, I feel a little bit more confident about hiding in this dip here. From this dip, you can cap, and as long as they don't have artillery, then you're fairly safe. I'm thinking that the 5100 is going to be hugging the corner of the map, but he's not. He gets spotted as he takes down our Ferdinand. Our T-32 is caught out in the open. And he takes out our T-32 as well. Oh gosh, we're down to 3 tanks, myself included. Just stay calm and cap. Just stay calm and cap. The 5100 decides to progress towards the cap circle. Can't afford to get spotted now, but remember in your light tanks, it doesn't matter if you're going forwards and backwards. Unless you've got a camo net, your camo rating is exactly the same, whether you're moving or whether you're still. Luckily for us, the base capture is finished. The T-21 comes around the corner. The 5100 narrowly misses my turret. We take out the T-21 and manage to dodge the second shell from the enemy 5100. So what a result here for the T37, showing that even though the Chaffee might have gone up a tier and it might have changed its name, it's lost none of the fun, excitement, and performance that was once thought of it. I hardly ever read the description and the hints the World of Tanks gives for the missions, but they've actually made quite a good one here. They say, a good scout knows when to be cautious and when to be aggressive. Stay alert to the flow of the battle. And I think that was very true of this game on Erlenberg. The problem for me at the beginning when I was hanging around over here was there was that single IS in the center. He would have spotted me, and I would have got shot from both flanks, so I decided to take a risk to be able to take him out. Then the meta of Erlenberg foretold itself. The enemy team won the east, we won the west. Then the enemy team played a lot more aggressively than a lot of teams will, and they flanked around with literally everything that they had, obviously apart from a couple of tanks that ended up going back and defending. Seeing this happen, I figured out it was time to make an aggressive play. We had to get the maximum result after all. We surrounded a tier 9 medium tank. We got a little lucky that we were able to track him with I think our second shot and surround him and use the excellent traverse speed of the light tank to outplay him. In turn, handling the T-29 and the Super Pershing, by that time the enemies had reached, I guess, this castle over here. And our team did something really, really good. Instead of splitting up and a few people going over the bridge, inevitably to be farmed by the 5100 and the Centurion who were defending there, we all turned around, we overwhelmed and overpowered a split enemy team. And then once we'd handled this area, we progressed over the bridge, we made a successful cap. So it's this idea of a flowing battle where you have to support your team and try and take advantage of the enemy while they're making aggressive plays and sometimes making mistakes. So let's just take a very quick look at the post-game stats to see if we indeed did have the maximum result in this game on Erlenberg. Yes, it was close, but indeed we did. That enemy 5100 had a fantastic game, nearly 6,000 damage, and he still wasn't able to carry it. 1,527 base. I was very happy with that in this matchup. We even got an Orlix medal, which is for destroying at least 3 enemy tanks that are 2 tiers higher than your vehicle. And so, cha-ching, we managed to net 21 premium consumables and 200,000 credits. These 4th tier missions are very lucrative indeed. And beside that, I was very happy to get Light Tank Mission 10, the maximum result, done. The hardest version of this mission. I get a lot of questions about successfully completing these light tank missions. If you want to give yourself the best opportunity to get through them, you want to probably sign up with 2 artillery on your team. Then you can give them heads up about where you're going to spot your targets, and you can depend on your buddies to actually hit them. Well, hopefully if RNG goes their way. And if you're not lucky enough to have 2 artillery playing friends, then I recommend that you play in the WZ-132 and probably the M41 Walker Bulldog. Especially the WZ-132, it's got fantastic camo rating, and I've sat in bushes right up until the 50 meters proxy range and haven't been spotted by very high tier tanks. And sometimes to get your missions done, you either need to get lucky with your map rotation. Come on, Prokhorovka, everybody probably says that when they're trying to do these light tank missions. And if you can't get lucky with the map, you better just time your aggression, calculate your plays, and then hopefully you should be able to come out on top, and best of luck getting all of your reward tanks. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed this replay. If you did, please consider giving this video a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to see what the Chaffee used to be like in one of my favorite replays of the tank, where Grimly is an absolute underdog and pulls off a huge carry of the game, then simply click up here and you can go through to see what all the fuss is about. And let me know in the comments down below, what are your tactics for completing your light tank missions? Do you feel that they all need to be addressed separately in different tanks, or do you have a specific favorite that you like to use to get the job done? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.